welcome to HITC Sport. Alright, let's end some myths. At the start of the season, we were hearing all about the surprise packages across Europe, making a great start to the season. Football hipsters were practically foaming at the mouth over some of these teams. With society currently stuck halfway down a toilet, could the heavens finally open up for these plucky young underdogs to actually win the league? Simply put, no. What I'm going to do today is find every league's team who made a stunning start to the season, only to have since collapsed like the springs in Susan Boyle's mattress. Right, let's go. Premier League, Chelsea. Yeah, I'm starting off with the Premier League and Chelsea. This is pretty easy. All we have to do is go back 6 weeks to the start of December, and Chelsea fans were sweating like a pig in heat, frothing over the prospect of a first league title in 4 years. To be fair, it was 3 weeks before Christmas that they were top of the league. The fans had been allowed to waddle into Stamford Bridge for the first time in 9 months to see them stick 3 goals past the Leeds. Every single manager in English football, Frank Lampard was ahead of all of them. They'd only lost once in 18 games in all competitions up until that point. Sure, Timo Werner was still stumbling about like a lost child in Tesco's, but it didn't matter. This team was finally about to compete for the title. No, since then it's been 2 wins in 9 games, including 5 defeats. One of them was against a bunch of Arsenal children. They've slipped from 1st to 7th and are now closer to Newcastle and Steve Bruce than they are at the top of the league. Never mind title challenges, Frank Lampard will probably rip off his ball back to even get a sniff at the top 4. La Liga, Real Sociedad. Yeah, remember the media spent last autumn wetting their pants over the progress of Real Sociedad? Oh, finally, David Silva was going to mastermind Real Sociedad's first league title in 37 years, right? Sure, the talismanic Martin Odegaard had gone back to Real Madrid, but who cares? Silva was making the Norway midfielder look like a fat Charlie Adam by comparison, right? William Jose was suddenly seen as one of the most confident strikers on the planet, despite the fact he's 29 years of age, and Newcastle fans were probably crying to the morning shreddies for having discarded Mikel Merino, a fella who had surely peaked at Andres Iniesta Mark II, right? Sure, it was a great start. They only lost 1 of the first 13 league games, and were top of the league in November. But please, if I hear one more football hipster tipping Imanol Alguacil as a future managerial great, despite the fact he's probably cleaning the toilets at the stadium 3 years ago, then I think my ears will probably start to bleed. They've since won just once in their last 9 games. They're now sitting 6th on 30 points, and if Atletico Madrid win their 2 games in hand, then Sociedad will be 17 points off the title. To put it in contrast, they actually had 1 more point at this stage of the season last year than they do right now. So no, despite the presence of David Silva, this is just a Europa League standard team, so please, what's all the fuss about? Bundesliga, Borussia Dortmund. This was the season Borussia Dortmund should have won the Bundesliga. With Bayern Munich dropping points, Dortmund have enough firepower to capitalise, but no. After a good start, they've completely lost their way. Sure, a 2-0 defeat to Augsburg in their second league game wasn't ideal, but still, after 6 matches they had 15 points and they were level at the top of Bayern Munich. Then in their next game, Marco Reus sticks them 1-0 up against Bayern on the stroke of half time to briefly move them 3 points clear at the top of the league. I'm convinced had they won that match, Lucien Favre would still have a job with Dortmund and they'd be closing in on their first league title in 9 years. Nah, instead they sloppily lost 3-2, and it's a result which seemed to scramble their brains, because since then they've lost at home to Cologne, dropped points at Eintracht Frankfurt, conceded 5 at home to Stuttgart, in a game where their defence looked like a collection of drunken housewives. They've since lost away to Union Berlin, failed to beat Mainz 05 at home in the Jurgen Klopp derby, and most recently got slapped down by Bayer Leverkusen. They're now 4th in the league, 10 points off Bayern at the top. Come on lads, what happened? Serie A, Sassuolo. Yeah, here's another European team which probably caused football hipsters to lose control of their bowels. Everything about this club screams football hipster, and it's exactly why Roberto De Zerbi is suddenly being hailed as a managerial genius by anyone wearing thick glasses. Don't get me wrong, it was a great start, but they've massively fallen away in the last 2 months. It took them 9 matches to lose a game. They began the season by sticking 4 goals past the opposition goalie 3 times in a row, and yeah, after 8 games they were just 2nd in the league, 2 points behind AC Milan at the top. Milan are a great historic club, yes, but they've been behaving like a barbershop for clowns since 2012, so Sassuolo fans could have realistically allowed themselves to dream about lifting the Serie A title in May. Good place, they were 5 points above Juventus, but since that damaging 3-0 embarrassment at home to Inter Milan, where even old man Alexis Sanchez made wet spinach of their defence, they've since dropped 15 points. They're now 9th in the league, 13 points off top spot. Sure, they can beat the bottom half teams with ease, but they've been picked up by both Milan clubs at home, and Juventus, where Danilo, Aaron Ramsey and Cristiano Ronaldo smashed their confidence to pieces. Oh yeah, and they lost 5-1 away at Atalanta. And they most recently failed to beat Parma at home, a Parma team 2nd bottom of the league who just lost 5 games in a row. Come on, what is the fuss about? Ligue 1 Marseille. Marseille are a proud football club who probably believe they deserve to be back at the top of the French football pyramid, right? Well, this could have been their season. PSG being nothing short of a sloppy mess, and when Florian Thauvin scored the winner in Paris, in a game where PSG had 3 players sent off, they must have thought this was their moment. Clearly the pressure got to them though, because they didn't win any of the next 4 games, but still, they recovered to go on a 6-game winning run. After beating Monaco at home 2 weeks before Christmas, they were suddenly 4th in the league after 13 games, and had they won their game in hand, then boom, they would have leapfrogged PSG, Lyon and Lille to go top of the league. and VVS Boas was on a path to redemption, right? No, in true AVB spirit, he bottled the chance, losing 2-1 away at an out-of-form Rennes. Then they stumbled to a 1-1 draw at home to relegation fodder Reims, then lost at Angers. Yeah, they got a 3-1 win against Montpellier, but then it was back to a goalless draw at Dijon, and back-to-back home defeats to Nimes and Lens. So now they're 6th in the league, 10 points on PSG, and I think it's fair to say AVB's title challenge is now covered in wet cement. Eredivisie Heerenveen. I don't think anyone really believed Heerenveen were going to actually challenge for the Eredivisie League title, but they were definitely the division's surprise package before Christmas. Under Johnny Jansen, they'd won 5 of their first 7 games. If you just forget about that 5-1 embarrassment at Ajax, it was actually a damn good start. After sticking 4 goals past Sparta Rotterdam at the start of November, they were 4th in the league, 11 on points with PSV, and just 2 points off Ajax at the top. You know, the team had recently used them as a dish towel to wipe their kitchen floor. Maybe, just maybe, they had the momentum to challenge for the title, or at the very least Champions League qualification. No, they haven't won a game since. And lads, there's been 10 matches since then. Have they just been asleep since November 1st? They couldn't even beat RKC Walwick at home. And good Christ, they recently stumbled to a 1-0 draw at VVV Venlo. Lads, Ajax took 13 past that team. So yeah, without a win in nearly 3 months, they're somehow still wedged inside the top half, but yeah, 19 points off Ajax at the top. Super League Alanyaspor. Again, nobody really thought Alanyaspor were going to be lifting the Turkish Super League this season, but you can't argue with their start of the season. This is a team heading into December unbeaten, top of the league on 20 points from 9 games. Lads, we live in a world where Stephen Calker was approaching Christmas in a team going for an invincible season. Just what? Maybe the Premier League were wrong to discard him like a wet Kit Kat. Second thoughts, no, he did have the first touch of a dying sheep. But still, for a team outscored a Galatasaray team with Radamel Falcao up front, and in their own stadium, this was looking like a special season. Now, since then they've crumbled like a soggy Jaffa cake. It's been 6 defeats in the last 9 games. Sure, the 2 home wins over Besiktas and Istanbul Başakşehir were impressive, but it means nothing when you lose the likes of Genkler Bigli, bottom club Denizlispor, oh yeah, and a Kasımpaşa team whose idea of a marquee signing is Danny Drinkwater on loan. Anyway, they're now 6th in the league and 8 points off top spot. Scottish Premier League Celtic. Okay, I know Celtic have won 13 games this season, but lads, this is a team who only dropped 10 points in the whole of last season, and are just off the back of a quadruple treble. Christ, well, they were able to take a piece of Premier League fluff like Scott Sinclair and turn him into a 20-goal-a-season goal machine. Good Christ, they found the division so easy, Brendan Rodgers could have probably signed Jeremy Lynch and he'd be banging in 10 goals a season. Why stop there? Good Christ, Blue Fan Man would probably be able to score against the likes of Motherwell and Ross County. But this season though, it's been a mess ever since the Glasgow Derby in mid-October. Before that game, which Rangers won 2-0 at Celtic Park, Celtic were just 1 point behind them and with a game in hand. They'd only dropped 2 points from 9 games, and after scoring 2 last-minute goals to save the day at St Johnstone, it looked inevitable. Celtic were going to win the league again. No, clearly that Derby defeat broke Neil Lennon's brain, because Shane Duffy immediately went from reliable Premier League centre half into Ali Dia on roller skates. Celtic have since dropped 15 points for the last 12 games. There was that 3-3 mess at Aberdeen, then they had to scrape a last gasp 2-2 draw at Hibernian, then scramble a late 1-1 draw at home to St Johnstone. They haven't won any of the last 4 league games, losing to Rangers again, drawing at home to both Hibernian and Livingston, and then 4 days later, after the embarrassment of failing to beat Livingston, they had a chance to exact revenge at their own stadium. No, 2-2 draw, leaving them 20 points off the title. Lads. Anyway, that's the end of the video, lads. Let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and as always, I'll talk to you in a while.